Hey, we're Scott and Carly, and we're vegan, and we just got back from our third trip to Maui, and this was our best one yet. And so, since most people only get to take one trip over there, we wanted to share our tips and tricks to make sure that this next trip for you is your best one yet. That's just the sunlight coming through. So it's a long trip to get over there, and usually by the time you land, you're a little bit hungry, and for me, decaffeinated. And so thankfully, there is a food truck parked basically right outside the airport. They have Kraken Coffee, which is a great place to stop and grab a cup of coffee or cold brew, and they have plant-based milks and things like that. There are some other vegan options, and currently there's a really good food truck there that we discovered on our last day. This time we didn't actually stop there on our way out, but in our past trips we have, and it's a great stop. But this time,
Yeah, the thing I love right close to the airport is that there's a Whole Foods and other grocery stores. If you're a large family, you might want to stock up at Costco, but you can kind of make that into your itinerary, especially if you're driving to Kaanapali, which is where we started.
yeah, and I would say, I mean, obviously, if you're staying in an Airbnb and you're planning on doing a lot of cooking, that's definitely essential. But even if you're not, we've always stopped there right off the bat just to grab a snack, grab some chips and some plant-based, like I call them Reese cups, whatever those peanut butter cups are. Some things that we can throw in the mini fridge to have in the hotel room because I never know what I'm going to be able to find over in Kaanapali because the grocery stores are not quite as robust. There are some, but I definitely recommend popping in there and stocking up on some of the essentials.
It's okay to tell them the real truth. It's because I love snacks and I eat all the time. So
Yeah. Happy wife, happy vacation. So from there we headed over, and then this time we decided to stay in Kaanapali in the resorts. So, the west side of the island is the sunnier, drier side of the island, and that's where most people, I would say, tend to stay on vacation. So we've stayed kind of at all the different areas on the west side. Our first time we stayed in Kihei, which is more condominiums and a little bit more relaxed, I feel like. There is a couple resorts down there, but by and large, it's a little more chill. And then last time we stayed in Hana, which is this really cool, historic downtown that unfortunately was ravaged by the fires about a year ago and is all shut down while they're rebuilding. And that was great. But this time we wanted to try staying in the resort section in Kaanapali because on our last day, we did walk over and check them out and we're really impressed. The food was so-so at the resort. Like there were vegan options. I think you could survive for sure. They have like a tofu scramble for breakfast and, fruit and things. I think they have oatmeal. At Umalu, the pool bar, they have like a Beyond Burger and a stir fry. And then there's Japango, which is like a Japanese sushi restaurant. And they have a daily vegetarian special. Now, they do have like a stir fry at every other restaurant too. To me, that caused a little skepticism. I'm like, if every single restaurant is serving the same stir fry, is it really any good? It'd be one thing if it was like the Japanese restaurant and they only have a stir fry. I'd be like, yeah, it's probably pretty good and worth trying. But the fact that I saw that on every menu just caused a little suspicion. And then for the price, I just didn't think it was worth it. So there's enough other vegan options around that we wanted to try and are glad that we did. But if you had to eat at the resort, you could. But yeah, if you don't want to eat at the resort, another option is there's plenty of food in walking distance. And that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about staying at the resort was the walkability and the access to things without having to get in your car and drive somewhere. So when we stayed in Kihei and Lahaina, anytime we wanted to go anywhere, we pretty much needed to get in the car, especially for like the beach. You have to load all your stuff up, drive to a beach, hope you can find parking. And then you're pretty much there until you want to be done for the day. Whereas when you're at the resort, you can go to the beach and go back to your hotel room for lunch and then go right back to the beach later. Just super easy. And the accessibility was huge. But then also there's a paved walkway, the beach walk as I call it, that goes from the resort all the way to Whalers Village. And it's about a mile long. And the Hyatt resort we were at was the furthest from that. All the other resorts are, obviously closer. But it's a pretty easy walk. It's really pretty. Like the grounds are really well kept. And then you've got the resorts and the resort pools on your right. And then the ocean and the view of the Lanai and the beach on your left. And it's just really scenic and peaceful to be able to walk down there. And then at Whalers Village, there's a bunch of cute shops and restaurants and coffee and a general store. And I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy that, if it was going to just be like a gimmicky, touristy thing. But I enjoyed it. We went multiple times.
Yeah. One of our favorite restaurants that we had was Health Choice Bar. They had a really great acai bowl. That was probably one of our favorite acai bowls that we had in Kaanapali. But what surprised us the most was our obsession with their bruschetta. And Scott got to discover capers for the first time, which was fun. Okay, to wrap up our pool day, we ended the night with a luau. We will say the Hyatt does have some vegan options. It's more about the side dishes versus having like a whole complete meal, is what we felt. But we were so appreciative that they had sides and that the sides were good. The show, on the other hand, was amazing and told a lot about the history, and the performance was great. Yeah. Anything else to add about that, Scott?
I just think if you're going to a luau, you got to think of it as a concert. You're going to a show, and food is provided as part of that, but you're not going for the food. I think that's really important, especially as a vegan, because if you have the expectation that you're going for an amazing vegan dinner, you're going to be disappointed.
Sure.
It was good. It was fine, but the show is what you're going for. And I think as long as you have that in your head, you're setting yourself up for success. I do appreciate that the food that was vegan was clearly labeled vegan on the menu, right? So you're not guessing. But I mean, at the end of the day, even for the non-vegan food, I mean, they're cooking for like a couple hundred people ahead of time and putting it in warmers. I mean, the food is not the main act.
Right. And I will say too, some luau's might feel really big. I felt like this was a good size. It was like not too crowded. I felt like it was an intimate gathering, but there were probably like, I don't know, 8 to 10 people at a table, multiple tables, but it was great.
Yeah, and if I could make a recommendation, it's if you're staying at a resort, go to the luau at your resort. Honestly, the fact that we could just get ready and then walk downstairs and then walk right back upstairs to our room when we were done and not have to drive, that was so nice. All right, so the next morning we did our first activity, which was an off-road adventure with Maui Off-Road Adventures, where we had an ATV and took it up on the mountain. But before we got there, we swung by a vegan breakfast place on the way there.
Yeah, it was called AA Roots and it was delicious. We split a breakfast burrito and, of course, an acai bowl because when in Maui, why not? And it was also just right across the street from our adventure, so very convenient.
Yeah, worked out perfectly. And it's in the same plaza as a grocery store, too. So if you needed to like grab some other provisions that the general store didn't have, it was pretty much a full-size grocery store, and they had like tofu and like vegan cheeses and things like that. So I think representative of any grocery store you'd find in the US. But yeah, AA Roots, definitely recommend swinging by there for a vegan breakfast or brunch. And then the Maui offer activity was a lot of fun. I think that was one of my favorite activities. Yeah. This was super cool because you got your own ATV. So there's the two of us on our own ATV. There's 4 seats. So if you have like kids or something, you could put them in the back. Definitely wear clothes you can get dirty in, because you're going to get very dirty. And then they take you out on these trails up on the mountain, and I mean, you are ripping it. I mean, there were times where I was like, I'm going as fast as I like feel comfortable almost, and I'm losing the people in front of me. So after you got the hang of the handling, it was better, but it was just super fun, super scenic. And then we learned a lot about the history of like the Dole plantation and how they had kind of interrupted the natural cycle of some of the plants and things like that, and the plastic that they had put down. And so now every tour that they go on, they plant a tree, a native tree.
But one thing I really enjoyed about this too was Scott got to start driving. I got to feel what it felt like. But they give you 2 opportunities to change drivers along the way. So both of us got to experience that, which was great. And then if you're driving and you don't love it, then there's opportunities to switch that driver. So that was helpful, and it made it super fun.
Yeah. So from there, we just headed back and then hung out at the pool for a bit. That night, we had our second activity.
Okay, this was my favorite activity, and I have to give my hat off to Scott because he actually surprised me, which was really sweet and thoughtful. But shout out to Moku Roots.
Yeah, so this was super cool because they no longer have a physical location. They used to have one in Lahaina, which was affected by the fires, and they shut that down after the fires. And they have a farm in the upcountry, which is kind of like up on the mountain in Kula. And they had planned to move up there eventually, but with the fires in Lahaina, they just decided to accelerate that decision. And so they don't actually have a full restaurant available yet. They do have a kitchen and things, and they have their farm. So they've got this covered patio outside. It's overlooking the side of the mountain and the ocean. It's facing west. And so they have Friday night dinners, and it's super cool because they don't have a menu. Like, they publish the menu leading up to the dinner that week, but it is what it is, and you get what you get. But it's all amazing. Like, I don't think you're not gonna like anything they make. And you just email them to RSVP. It's like the most like low key thing. And I liked it because while we were there, it just seemed like there was a lot of locals there too. Like it's legitimately a place that people who live there hang out on Friday nights.
But let's break this down a little bit. So we arrived and they had heaters because it was a little bit chilly. It was a little drizzly when we got there. And we were greeted, warm welcome.
And then they sat us down and started bringing out the main dish, which was a pumpkin risotto with a little side salad.
And it had mushrooms, which were really delicious.
Yeah. And then from there, you just get up, and as the sun started to burn the clouds off, we got a view of sunset. It's like perfect timing.
Pretty.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. I mean, it was the best sunset I think we've seen on Maui.
Yeah.
Just like the farm is facing the sunset essentially, and you just very romantic. Take a lot of pictures. You can go down and explore the farm a little bit too, which I didn't realize until basically the night was over. But I think it's just a super cool, like, I'd say like active dinner, where you're participating a little bit and getting to talk and meet other people.
Meet other people, great conversations. And another fun thing that we really personally enjoyed was it's bring your own booze. So you can pick your favorite bottle of wine, and they provide you with the wine glasses there. Yeah, and you could go for a romantic dinner as a couple, but we also saw friend groups there too. They had larger tables that accommodate that. I'm assuming you just tell them in your email RSVP and they can accommodate that.
So one of the things is we were talking to people there during the appetizer section. They were telling us about a lot of other cool vegan places to go. So it's a great source of like local vegan intel. They were telling us about a farmer's market that they have in the upcountry on Saturdays that is very highly recommended for good vegan eats. And then they were telling us about the Sunday brunch or Saturday brunch.
Yes,
Sunday brunch that Moku Roots does. And they were saying that's more buffet style, but incredible. And we've seen pictures and it does look incredible. So wish we could go to all the things over there in upcountry, but yeah, just super cool to hang out with fellow like-minded people too.
We will say this was about an hour drive from Kaanapali, but to us, it was very worth it. It was incredible. This was hands down my favorite experience on this trip.
Yeah, for sure. So on our third day, we decided to go snorkeling because you can't go to Maui without doing some sort of water activity. And we've done scuba diving in the past and we love diving, but I feel like that could take it out of you a little bit. It's just a full morning activity and we wanted something just a little more relaxed. And so we just decided to go snorkel, especially because Black Rock Beach is right there at the end of the beach walk and in walking distance from where we were staying. And we'd heard great things about that. I was a little skeptical, to be honest. Like, I wasn't sure if it was legitimately good snorkeling or if it was just the fact that it was accessible to people on the resorts and they could snorkel that was getting it all the hype. But I thought it was great. I saw a lot of fish. We saw the state fish, which is...
Oh no, you gotta remind me before we say it. Tell me.
You remember, go for it.
No, I really don't. Huma huma? Nuka nuka? Apua.
Okay, put it all together.
Nuka nuka apua.
Yes, the state fish. So we saw that, and there was a sea turtle, like right there, eating off the rocks. I mean, swimming, eating off the rocks, 10 yards from us. And I've heard that it's very common to see them out there. So I think it's a great place to snorkel. And then from there, we decided to go grab lunch. And so on the way back, we walked right past Maui Brewing Company.
I'm not really good with the beer stuff, but I mean, it's fine.
And so it's not a vegan restaurant, but they do have a veggie burger that was really good. A house-made veggie burger, nice little patio, great view of the ocean, and good beer. So the reason we were going to Maui in the first place was to celebrate our 5-year anniversary. And we wanted to have a good romantic dinner. And so we've done a lot of research trying to find like a nice restaurant. There's a lot of vegan restaurants that I feel like they're all just kind of more relaxed, more casual, good food.
Yeah, but we really wanted more of this romantic vibe.
Yeah, so we wanted something that was like a nicer establishment. And as I was researching a lot of these nicer dinner establishments, most of them didn't really have vegan options, or they would have like one, and again, it would be like a stir fry or a salad.
Or a Beyond Burger.
Yeah, nothing again that really like went for what we were after. And so I ended up finding Sea House Restaurant and noticed they had a lot of different things marked vegetarian, many which can be made vegan. And we decided to check that out.
Yeah, and that was a really great choice. We got the buffalo, or no, it wasn't buffalo. It was a Thai cauliflower wing and just a bunch of little sides. One was a tofu dish. It was great. We got a bunch that were reasonably priced. And shared them. And the scenery, the sunset, again, was another great sunset. So make a reservation for this one because if you want that patio area, they're pretty full.
Yeah, and I'd probably get there early to try to take some pictures down on like little beach and stuff like that with the sunset, just really pretty. So those were most of our activities while we stayed in Kaanapali. And on our last day, we decided to fit in one more snorkeling session. And on the way back, discovered one of our new favorite vegan places on the island that I wish I had known about sooner.
Yes, and this was the farmers market.
Yeah, it's called Farmers Market Maui. It's not actually farmers market. It's a little grocery store, like a natural food store that has a hot bar and a little cafe in there.
They also have a lot of sandwich options for vegans, which was cool. But the hot bar was really fun. If you were heading to the beach, you had a cooler with you. You could pack up here for sure. But it was delicious.
Yeah, you could grab stuff to throw like in your hotel mini fridge. And so I think one thing of note is that the hot bar and cold bar, everything there is vegetarian. So that means there's a lot of overlap with vegan as well. There's a lot of the mains. There was like a lot of tofu mains in the hot bar that were also vegan. There were a few things that might have like milk or dairy or cheese, but I would say it was probably at least 50% also vegan.
Yeah.
And then the stuff at the cafe, they had multiple options. They've got a Beyond Burger option, a tofu sandwich, and a tempeh burger. So a lot of options to choose from. And we got the Island Teriyaki burger and an acai bowl, which were very good. So from there, we decided to go take on our next activity, which was going to be camping in a pop-up Jeep tent. So we decided to do this because we had one night to kill between when the resort stay ended in Kaanapali and when our resort in Hana ended. And this seemed like a fun activity. So we swung by, picked up a Jeep with a pop-up tent, and then decided to camp in Oluwalu campground, which was really nice. I thought, they've got showers and bathrooms. They're open air, but really, really well kept.
Yeah, and the showers have hot water. So that was a plus.
Yeah, and then you can walk. They've got a little beach section you can walk to. Very pretty. So super cool experience. Really glad we did that. And then, next morning, just turned the Jeep back in and then headed on our next adventure, which was the road to Hana.
Yeah, and of course, we know that Maui is known for the road to Hana, so we wanted to do this in more than one day. We didn't want to be crunched for time. We really wanted to enjoy this experience, and so we did it in multiple days.
Yeah, so to start the road to Hana, we started in Paia, which is a cute little town just kind of north and east of the airport area. And it's a cute little town with a lot of little shops and things like that. And we were planning to spend more time there on the way back, but we did want to at least get a glimpse. And so we stopped in to grab lunch.
Yeah, and we stopped at a place called Mana Foods, which was another, I would say, gold star find because, again, I think they had a lot of vegetarian and vegan options. They had another hot bar. They even had a vegan pizza, which was delicious. So you could kind of pick and choose, stock up on some yummy tofus.
They also had a little coffee bar there with a lot of like vegan cakes and things that looked delicious. And they had a whole bakery rack of like banana breads and cookies and all kind of like individually wrapped baked goods. And a lot of them were vegan. So we stocked up on some of those as well. I think that's where we got maybe our first banana bread. And they also just have, it's like a health food store with like your typical packaged goods. They have a cold section with, again, like any kind of vegan sour cream or vegan cheese, like anything you were going to need. That's a great place.
Even frozen food. So the Hyatt did not have a microwave. We didn't mention that. But if your condo or your hotel or your resort does, you could definitely get some quick, throw in the microwave meals.
Yeah.
Have those there.
Yeah, but after we stocked up on that, we started the road to Hana. We used an app called Shaka Guide that was really helpful because on the road to Hana, you don't have a lot of service. And so you need something that's going to tell you where to turn off for kind of the main things you want to see. And the history that came with it too was really interesting. And so we downloaded that and then just plugged that into our car. I had a car with a sunroof. And so just took it nice and easy. And so that's the nice thing about spending multiple days to go there and back is that you're not rushed. And there's a lot of twists and turns. Carly gets car sick easy. So I really just took it super slow. And then anytime someone came up behind me, I just stopped to let them pass.
Yeah.
And we just soaked up the views. Yeah. So there's a lot of different places you can stop along the way. I think one of the ones that we liked the most was Coconut Glens. And that's, I would say, a majority of the way there. There's not a ton of food on the trek, but Coconut Glens is an entirely vegan coconut ice cream place that Carly had looked into ahead of time.
Yeah, I've been looking into this for a couple of years, so it was really fun finally getting to go. I'm usually not a big banana person, but I would say that my favorite ice creams there, which are all vegan by the way, all coconut based, hence Coconut Glens, but it was a banana based one. So, they have multiple flavors. It's all vegan. It's a cute little stop.
Yeah. And then there's another one there. It's called Hana Farms. And that's was closed by the time we got there because we had a late start. But they've got like pizza, but they also have a little stand, like a coffee stand with some shops and things like that. And they have a vegan banana bread. So we picked up
that was
those.
my favorite vegan banana bread. And we did get that multiple times because it was that good. So.
Yeah. So then once we got to Hana, we, checked into our resort and everything. And then we needed dinner. And so there's a food truck park that's just right around the corner. because there's not a ton in Hana. I think that's an important thing to highlight is that Hana is a really small town, very different from the resort areas and the rest of Hawaii that have a lot of shops and things. Like, not a lot of people stay in Hana, I feel like. And
But
so
we're glad we did.
yeah, but there's not a lot going on and there's not a lot of restaurants. So there's like the Ranch restaurant that has like a Beyond Burger, but we didn't eat there because we were just like, that just doesn't seem that like it's going to be that good. And there was a food truck park and it had a Thai kitchen truck, Ace Thai Kitchen. And I had read that the red curry was really good. So we swung by and picked that up. And I
It didn't disappoint. It was good.
yeah. So they're open a bit later and obviously pretty casual and stuff. So then we just went back and hit the hay because the next day we had another big activity.
Yeah. And so we headed to the national park.
Yeah, so in Haleakala National Park, there's a trail called the PPY Trail, and it's a 4-mile hike, ends at a waterfall, absolutely gorgeous. There's also a banyan tree on the way, which, there's the banyan tree in Lahaina, and that's obviously really cool, but it was really cool to see one I feel like out in nature, like it feels a little more organic. And then there's also the bamboo trail, which is, or bamboo forest, which is really unique. And they've got, these plank walkways through that, but like I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, just so many different terrains. You just feel like you're in a totally unique, special place. And that tree, by the way, is like 200 years old. So it's really special. It's worth just going for that. But the waterfalls and the bamboo forest make it really unique as well.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing was like it ends at this waterfall that it's just like it's like this whole wall and it's just sheer rock and it goes up super high and just ending there and like sitting there and eating a snack and kind of taking in those views was super
breathtaking.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, made the whole hike worth it. And then, we hiked back down and enjoyed all that on the way back as well. But yeah, beautiful hike and would 100% recommend it. But after we got back to the car, pretty hungry at that point. I think we got there kind of early in the day. And so it was probably 10:30 or so. We headed out. So we were like, hey, let's go check out Hana Farms for lunch.
Yes. And so they had some great vegan options. We got a vegan pizza and the salad. The salad was great, really fresh. The dressing was delicious. We got some special drinks that we enjoyed. Yeah, highly recommend.
Oh my goodness.
Doesn't it look good? Look at that salad.
Amazing. So one of the things I forgot to mention is that right across the street was this farm shop. And so we just walked over there to check it out. It's really cute. They have a bunch of unique fruits and vegetables and things like that. So we popped in, talked to the locals, got some good tips, and then we pretty much headed back after that. Also, I realize I haven't spoken much about where we were staying in Hana. And we were staying at the Hana Resort by the Hyatt. And it was really nice, really relaxing, unlike the larger resorts in Kaanapali that are just one giant building with everyone right on top of you. It was lots of these smaller buildings, and then there was a central pool area and a little fire pit with a bunch of chairs, and all of that was overlooking the ocean, and it was just super pretty, super relaxing, not a ton of people, and I highly recommend staying there if you're gonna be in Hana. And then our next activity in Hana was to check out Waianapanapa State Park. I think that's how the guy in the app said it, so I'm going to say that that's right. But that's where they have the black sand beach, which is pretty cool. And then they also had a sea cave that we kind of got to explore a little bit. And that was, I think, one of the cooler parts of the park that I enjoyed.
Yeah, we didn't actually get into the ocean and swim. There were definitely people swimming, but we kind of used it more for hiking. They have a blowhole tube. That was fun to watch. And yeah, I'm really glad we went. You do have to make a reservation for that. There are certain time slots available each day. If you do not make a reservation, you cannot get into the park. So that's something really important to know.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a 15-minute window. Like you make your reservation for 9 o'clock. If you're not there by 9:15, they will not let you in. They are strict about that, is what I've heard.
So just be mindful of that, plan ahead.
It was a couple-hour activity. It's a 2-hour reservation that you make, and I wouldn't really say there's more than 2 hours worth of stuff to do there. So from there, we just headed back to hang out at the pool a little bit more. Carly swam. I got in the water. I thought it was cold. She stayed in the water. I did not.
I enjoyed
some cocktails from the pool bar. And then from there, we decided to go back to the food truck spot again. That red curry was so good. I'm normally a green curry person, so I really wanted to try the green curry. I was actually torn though because the red curry was so good.
It was really good.
But I opted for the green curry, and it was also very good. Although I do think the red curry was better. But man, I just love good curry. So did that, hit the hay, and from there. So with that, we were at the end of our trip, and we had to make the drive from Hana, and we decided to stay at a hotel right by the airport, the Courtyard Marriott, because we had an early morning flight, and that way we didn't have to rent a car a whole other day.
Yeah, and I will say that was really convenient because they do shuttle you to the airport.
But that said, we had plenty of time to get back. We weren't in a rush. And so we decided to check out a couple things on the way back that we didn't do on the way there. And one of those was the K&I Arboretum. So there are two arboretums that you can check out. One is the Garden of Eden, and that's a paid, I think a more official arboretum. The K&I, there's no attendance or anything. It's just like a gate, and you just walk on in. It's completely free, and you just park on the roadside. But that was super cool.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe the rainbow eucalyptus tree. You hear about this, but it really is worth the stop, especially because it's free. You walk into this arboretum, you kind of get a jungle feel because, yeah, it's just untouched, uninhabited.
Yeah, it's good, like it's not maintained. Unlike a lot of like the thing about the resorts where they like everything's manicured. Like I don't know, maybe Garden of Eden is like that, maybe it's not. But the K&I, it's free. There is no one really maintaining it. And so you just see some of the overgrowth of the plants, and it does feel like you just like walked into this jungle.
Yeah. But those trees, it just seems like somebody took a paintbrush and painted on them. It was that vivid of a color. Really unique. Definitely worth stopping.
Yeah, it was wild. And then they have a bunch of other plants and trees that they've, brought in. They've got little placards you can read about where it came from and what it is. Super cool, just relaxing way to walk around without a ton of people and stuff. There were others there, but it was pretty casual, and I'm really glad we stopped. So then from there, we continued the drive back, and on the way in, we were almost to Paella, and I just saw a sign, and it just said like vegan food truck, and I was just like borderline swerved off into the parking lot. And then we got there, and it was Rainbow Kitchen, which some of our friends at Moku Roots Dinner had told us we needed to check out. And I had almost forgotten by that point of the trip. And so we pulled off, and I was like, oh, of course we have to stop and eat here, even though I wasn't even that hungry. So we got
the Krabby Patty, which is so fun. But it was delicious. And we also got a quesadilla. And of course, we split it because we love to share food. But that was worth a stop. That was my favorite food truck that we stopped at.
Yeah, and they had a pretty large menu, a lot of different things that we didn't get to try too, like some sort of like ice cream thing that looked really good. owner was very friendly, very casual. Everything is obviously made right there, hot and fresh.
Yeah.
Would definitely recommend stopping there as a vegan food option for sure.
Yeah, and you can eat it right there. They have a little table on a deck. So
Yeah, they also had, as we walked around, there was a couple of little shops and things right there. There was another place that had like grain bowls and things that if you wanted something a little bit healthier, that would be a good option. But we just eaten, so we didn't eat there. But from there, we started to head back on in, and we decided to stop and check out Paia because we had enough time. So we parked, swung back by Mana Foods again to get some more delicious food, and then we just checked out the shops. And so I think there was a coffee shop there that had some plant-based milks and things like that. And then also we just decided to pop into a gelato shop just to see, because there's a gelato shop in Maine we used to go to that we like a lot, and we were just like, let's just see what this is about. And there was 2 cases, and the one on the left was entirely vegan options.
so cool.
Yeah, I did not expect that. Usually you're getting like 2 to 3 options, and this one had, there was everything from fruitier flavors to a coconut one, which was really good, and then they even had like a chocolate one.
Yeah. Really love the passion fruit one. It's delicious.
And then there's just lots of other like shops there that you can get, attire or souvenirs or things like that. So we did pick up a couple mementos to bring back with us to bring back some memories.
Yeah.
So from there, we decided to head back to the hotel and drop the car back off with our Turo rental and checked into the hotel room. And then there was that food truck park. The food truck park I mentioned earlier that's right outside the airport is basically in the same parking lot as the Marriott. And so we just like walked on down and we're like, well, let's just check out and see what they have. And we found a super cool vegan food truck.
Yeah, Tabay's food truck, I believe. And this was really cool because he was there. So we got to actually know a little bit more about the business. He's a super friendly guy, really young. Check out his story. We were really excited because they had a lot of Americanized food. So I used to love a buffalo chicken wrap when I was not vegan. And so, of course, I got that there.
And then I got the Monster Burger, which was like a combination of all my favorite things on a breakfast sandwich and all my favorite things on a lunch sandwich in one. And so I really debated because I was like, I'm not sure if this is actually going to be good or not. Like, you can almost have too many of these good things that actually don't combine well, because it was like just egg and sausage and some sort of coconut bacon or vegan bacon, and then a hamburger patty, Beyond Patty, cheese, a fried onion ring. I mean, it was like,
it was nuts.
Yeah. And then I came out and I was like, I don't know how I actually ate that thing. It was huge. Yeah.
Face.
It's bigger than my head.
Looks so good though.
How was it? Oh, good choice, right?
Okay. Wow.
Cherry, final verdict.
I usually say if you try to do too many things at once, it's not going to go so well. Pick one thing and do it well. I'm skeptical when something tries to be everything to everybody. But this breakfast and lunch combo, all of the stuff on it, it works. And would 100% get this again. I would come with an emptier stomach next time. It's all very fresh. Like the hash brown is like clearly very freshly cooked. They said the onion rings they had just made. So like I kind of was skeptical if it was all going to be, having been in the warmer, because there's so many things to make. But no, it's fresh and delicious, and whatever sauce they put on here, incredible. Very good. And it was so good.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah. I was so full when we were done. I ate so much that day, to be honest, between Mana Foods, Rainbow Kitchen, and that all like basically after probably 4 o'clock in the evening.
Delicious.
Totally worth it though. And so I would highly recommend, if you're maybe getting off the plane, that's a great place you can consider stopping and grabbing something to eat before you head to your hotel. And then from there, we just, checked in the hotel, packed up, and headed home. And so on the way back, I think we were just talking about how like this trip was one we would do the same way, 100%.
Nailed it. Crushed it. Wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. So if you guys are looking to make this trip, we did a blog post on our website, veganvacationguide.com, that has
Check that out.
additional details and some of the pictures and things that accompany this. And yeah, if you have other recommendations of what to do, we'd love if you'd like leave a comment for other people that are considering taking a trip to Maui and trying to navigate, being vegan over there.
Thanks so much for being here with us. We really appreciate your time, and we hope that this was a helpful video for you. Like Scott said, leave us some comments. Please like us, subscribe to us if you want to hear more about our videos and what we're up to.
Cool. All right, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.